Yeah, Shikantaza, when I learned this as a young Zen student, the instructions were elaborate on the physicality, meaning your posture, I mean, how our robes were, all these different things were very, and how we sat on our cushion were very strongly emphasized. No information or content was given about the internal experience. So shortly after doing my first retreat, I went around to the folks who were the most experienced there. And of course, in those days, maybe 10 years was the most senior person. And I asked them, "What are you doing in Shikantaza?" And the people that gave me an answer, I got every answer you can imagine what they were doing. And what I concluded was nobody knew at all what to do in the meditation. They were all doing it, but it was going in all these different directions. And so I I began when I began sort of actively teaching Shikantaza a few years back. I began to see the tie-in between the Theravada and jhana practice and the Zen practice. That it actually there was a morphing that happened when it came from India to China and incorporated into Taoism and Confucianism. There really was a shift in the jhana practice, and part of it was because in jhana practice people have a lot of expectations. You have to manage people's expectations and disappointment and striving. The teachers began not giving a lot of the instructions and letting people have the experience so they weren't striving for a particular state. But what happened was they ended up removing so much of the material that then it just was this open sitting. People are sitting and hoping something happens. So knowing that, I sort of deconstructed the jhana practice into three stages. The third stage, we're going sort of highest to lowest. The third stage would be entering into the vastness, opening into the absolute. And what precedes that in the third stage is the dissolving of the body boundary, the sense of me being contained in the skin. And this is one of the, to me, this is one of the most primary identifications we have. We're infants when we establish hunger's inside this thing, food is outside this thing. So we get, I'm hungry, I'm here. So that's the third stage, is the softening of the body boundary and opening to the vastness. The second stage is unity of inner and outer. And the first stage is unity of body-mind. So normally with this practice, I would take people, start them meditating, and then say, okay, now bring your awareness to your interiority, and just notice, is your body and mind in a unity, in a oneness, or is there a separation? And for most people who have a separation, it's usually somewhere around the neck. There's a concept of I'm here in the head, and this is my body from the neck down. And so we just hold that head, body, mind, body, and separation. And meditatively over a period of time, that concept will soften. The concept of separation softens, and people will feel a flow, a unity of body-mind. That's stage one. Then they take that as their interiority, but make contact with the exterior and do the inside and outside match, or are they different? And as we're holding both of these and particularly becoming aware of the body boundary, then the body boundary begins to soften. It gets to where I can't feel my left arm, my head is gone, or my leg feels like it's 2 meters, 6 feet in that direction. And so enough of the body boundary is gone, then I just have folks open awareness to the vastness, to the absolute, and there's just an abiding in the absolute. So that becomes the bulk of the meditation, which really helps soften that fear and concern about what's going to happen. And then I'll throw in one last line, and I'm sure you know this from your teaching, Michael, that one of the issues that's recurrent on a spiritual path is aloneness. And we meet it at different levels, sort of on a personal level, then we can meet it when we're accessing the absolute as well. And we have to work with that aloneness because that's part of what drives our personality to either connect or to have some type of arrangement that we don't feel isolated or alone. So anyway, those are the three stages I have for Shikantaza, which is not in the usual Zen presentation. That's something I've introduced to my teaching.